Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show. I'm your host, Patrick Marlett, your local game guy, and today I'm joined by Will. Hey, Will.
Hello.
This fancy Star Wars shirt. I'm jealous. I bought a bunch of t-shirts recently on a little trip. This is not one of them, but on a trip Allie and I took to Nyack, New York. But I'm not wearing any of them today. You'll see one of them later, I assume. Nothing magic related, sadly, but maybe I'll get some magic swag in the near future. I don't think I own any magic paraphernalia outside of the trading cards. Do you have any? Do you have like a Jace hoodie really. Anywhere?
No.
Okay. So today, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, we're going to be discussing all of the Universes Beyond, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth cards, not only from the Commander set, which there's only so many to cover at this point. The big one I would say is Aragorn. My gosh, that one's like the one to discuss. But these are just going to be initial impressions. We're not going to be ranking these or giving these any sort of evaluations outside of a first blush and giving you all an idea of how you can build these lists potentially. So if you think that'll be useful to you, stay tuned. We're also going to be covering the main set, which there's a lot to cover of. So far, anything you're looking at and excited to brew for or talk about, Will?
There's a ton of stuff, but I feel like going in order might be the smartest choice just to kind of slowly work through it. So we can start with build the pony upwards, and that would work for me.
Sounds good. Yeah, because we've touched on some of the spoilers, and there have been a handful of spoilers up until now already in a previous pod. Just tacking it on to the end of those pods because it's new content, and I'm sure you guys love new content just as much as us. Then I'll say that overall, I think that this set is a definite flavor win with everything that has passed my eyes. I'm liking everything from a flavor standpoint. Whether these things are going to be hyper effective in cEDH or change the meta for Commander players, I can't quite say. I think we need some official rulings on a few things, specifically the ring tempting you to get a firmer opinion on, how effective some of these cards will be. But I think on that note, I'll let you guys pour in. Hey, everyone. Hey, Steven. I have a poll going asking you which meal you're on. And this is just going to give me an impression of where in the world you're tuning in from. But second breakfast is a favorite, I think, of most of us. There's a few, by the way. I think there's afternoon tea. There's dinner, supper. They're all different time. They're all different times. But if you recall from the books of the film, let me know. Which meal are you on right now? But I think we're officially good to start with that. Enjoy the poll, and let's talk about the set. Hi, I'm Patrick Marlett, your local game guy. I'm joined by co-host Will here. Hello, Will.
Hello.
And today we'll be discussing Tales of Middle-earth, Lord of the Rings, Universes Beyond, Magic the Gathering. Oh, so many words, but all it really means is that we get to explore some of our favorite characters from the Lord of the Rings franchise in Magic the Gathering. If you enjoy this video, I'll encourage you to hit that like button. Really, it does help. I'm seeing the results. I used to never say this, but really, it does help. Also, if you enjoy our chat here, feel free to share this with other people so they can join us on the live stream podcast in the future. The beauty of doing these podcasts live is the fact that we get to communicate with you. You can share your opinions on cards. And provided you can translate any of these for us, that'd be great, just to make sure we get everything right. But moreover, we love having your opinions and sharing them with a larger audience. So that's the idea of these live streams. So if you want to get your 2 cents in, this is the place to do it. Now, as I stated off the bat, there are a couple of things to cover from the Commander-specific sets, and that's where I want to start. So here we are with Sauron, Lord of the Rings. We're over on Scryfall. If you'd like to follow us, you can join us over there. I believe it is up to date currently. Let us know if there's something on Mythic Spoilers, Magic Spoilers, whatever site you prefer, from a different creator that was just spoiled today, because it's, to my understanding, like the content roadmap for Lord of the Rings, it's like officially in motion. So cards might be spoiled while we're doing this live. And if you want to talk about them, let us know about them. But I figure we could trade off going over some of these cards. The Commander precons have some different named same cards in them, and we're just going to skip over them like Fangorn Forest. But I'll start us off with the Lord of the Rings himself, Sauron. So for 5 generic and Grixis, 9/9 legendary creature Avatar Horror. When you cast a spell, amass Orcs 5, mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Luckily, unlike Lobelia, it doesn't matter if that creature hit the graveyard from the battlefield this turn. So there is that one specific requirement at the beginning. But Trample, whenever a commander an opponent controls dies, the ring tempts you. Ooh, don't you wish Sauron just entered the battlefield and killed the thing? All right, thoughts, Will?
I wish it was ETB instead of when you cast, because then this card would be sick.
Pretty cracked. Pretty cracked. I mean, yeah, I'm not even sure it's worth running some sort of infinite mana sacrifice setup, recast this a billion times for a million orcs. Because it's not like your army has... Well, so, refresh my memory. When you amass Orcs 5, you get an army orc token that has +1/+1 counters equal to 5, correct? And then if you amass...
Yeah, if you don't have an amass token already. So if you don't have one, then it's that. If you do have one, it just puts 5 counters on your army.
So what I'm really getting at here is amass is not a great mechanic in Commander, in my opinion, because it's so narrow. Like, having one big thing is generally not enough. So it's odd to me that, this amass... I kind of wish armies worked differently. Like, I would rather just you amass an army of X strength, and then you can continue to do that. Instead, you're practically getting a body that you could use to, like, an Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, to, pick your favorite sacrifice outlet. You're getting a body that can sort of go towards that, and then you're getting another body that can go towards that. The effect itself of milling 5 cards is kind of cool. That's probably my favorite aspect of the top effect. The fact you have to cast it sucks, though. That really is not, that's not really great. It's not conducive to making this broken, particularly when you read his cost at 8. It's just a little upsetting. I think Sauron, people were saying that the Balrog was done dirty.
Yeah, it really was.
And it really was. I mean, maybe not, and I don't think that's like a commander specific, card. It's not loaded into a precon. So it could be for other formats, and it's just not good for us, like a lot of the legends are. But they really did Sauron extra dirty, in my opinion, because he is in a commander precon, and like he should be viable. And I don't see why you'd run this over Aragorn. Aragorn's pretty good. But anyway.
It's also like the whole thing of when an opponent's commander dies, the ring tempts you is so finicky because your opponents have to play into it, and even then, the commander could be exiled, it could be bounced. Like, there's a million ways a commander gets removed that doesn't trigger, so feels bad.
Yeah, it feels bad on a lot of fronts. And Pupstomp's suggesting like a Cloudstone Curio Dockside loop. Yeah, you could do like an infinite mana. I just don't even know if it's worth it. Yeah, there will be another Balrog. The other Balrog has the set numbering for the starter decks. Okay, well, that's cool. I hope so. We have Galadriel, Elven Queen. You want to take this one away?
Sure. So 2 green-blue for 4/5 elf noble legendary creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another elf entered the battlefield under your control this turn, starting with you, each player votes for domain or guidance. Sorry, I'm not zoomed into the cards. It's a little bit hard to read it. But
you're good.
Domain or guidance. If domain gets more votes, the ring tempts you. Then, oh, sorry.
You got it right.
Dominion.
Yeah. You're good.
So if Dominion gets more votes, the ring tempts you, and you put a +1/+1 counter on your ring bearer. If guidance gets more votes or ties, you draw a card. It's cool because it is roughly a card draw every turn, or like a pump effect, but you have to have an elf enter, so it's like kind of worse than draw a card every turn, which I feel like is kind of the floor for a lot of good cards.
Yeah, it's a little narrow, this Will of the Council. It's a lot narrow, and I feel like you're just going to get the ring tempting you a lot and not card draw.
Yeah, and if the ring has a cap, that feels terrible.
Right, and we still don't know, and that's something we've sort of stressed with these videos. I can't necessarily stress it over the shorts, like specifically Call of the Ring, I believe is the one black enchantment we like. again, I can't stress. We don't know mechanically how it will function ultimately if it stacks multiple times. To my understanding, at least from the general rules we got from like the clue card, the icon card, whatever it is, the emblem card. It sounds like you can make the choice. You have to make the choice even if you only have one creature. No idea if once you reach 4, does the emblem just stop allowing you to stack additional triggers. I feel like I'm 50-50, but I can't say with any certainty, you know?
Yeah, like I really hope that it stacks infinitely because
Right.
one, that feels like it works well flavor-wise, and two, I feel like that would make it viable. If it doesn't stack, all the Tempted by the Ring cards feel terrible.
Yeah. At least for commander. So
I
I
mean,
can
even in a 60 card in
really wouldn't.
constructed, it would still be pretty bad.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. Again, we can't delve too far into that. I have nothing else to say about Gladriel. She's fine. She's fine.
Yeah,
But we do have pretty awesome partners with pairing here.
finally got the other half.
And it's good, and it's actually good. So we have Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit. So Orzhov, 1/3 body, legendary creature, halfling scout. We'll jump back to Sam, loyal attendant, in a second, but Frodo partners with him. Vigilance, right? So you don't have to tap. You get a 1/3 blocker. That's pretty spicy.
That
Whenever,
Timber blocker, let's go.
yeah, exactly. Don't come this way, or Sting's gonna get you. Whenever Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit attacks, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, the ring tempts you. Then, if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring has tempted you 2 or more times this game, draw a card. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? When you consider that it partners with a Selesnyan creature that is giving you life gain, and you'll see how. For generic and Selesnya, 2/4 body, even better. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a food token, right? And if you remember food, I believe you could crack it. It gives you 3 life, right? It's two for 3 or 1 for 3.
2 for 3. Pay 2 mana, get 3 life.
2 for 3. So you're paying to gain 3 life and potentially draw a card off Frodo, right? Activate abilities foods you control cost 1 less to activate. So that's actually not that bad. It's
Yeah.
a weird food centric partner, but with Frodo it works fairly well, right?
Yeah, I do like it just because it's effectively move to combat, pay 1, get tempted by the ring, or get tempted by the ring, which if it stacks, fantastic. Even if it doesn't, this is still pretty good. And then you draw a card. So it's 1 mana, draw a card, and build up the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Then if you're the ring bearer, whenever it attacks 3 or more life this turn, it's so weird that it's an attack trigger. It's so weird that it's on the attack.
It's an attack trigger so that you can play Sam, get the food, move to combat, and then like get the food immediately so that you can sack it before Frodo attacks. It's set up to be as optimal as possible, and
I
I like that they did it that way.
I like that part of the mechanic requires you to like nosh on food before you strike your opponents down. It's such a weird.
It's
It works.
hilarious, yeah.
Yeah, it works though. And then the ring has to tempt you 2 or more times this game. Oh, just that's okay. Yeah, okay. That's better. So the first time it happens, nothing will really occur, but then on it's good. I like it. I like it a lot. It feels sluggish. Obviously, it's not going to draw as quickly as Timna in these same colors would, and then you obviously have more choices in that regard. But I do think that Frodo and Sam are playable, and the tokens Sam makes are viable for other things. So consider that. You're an
And
Abzan. It's fine.
once again, if you get infinite ring stacks, this is a really good stacks pairing because you just slowly have your effectively unblockable Frodo hit for like 9 damage, then 12 damage, then 15 damage, and then everybody's dead.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, again, we'll see. We'll see it when we see it. I'm excited to see it though. You want to lead us on Eowyn?
Sure thing. So we got a Eowyn, Shield Maiden. 2 blue, red, white for a legendary creature human knight with 5 power, 4 toughness, and first strike. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human entered the battlefield under your control, create 2/2/2 red human knight tokens with trample and haste. If you have 6 or more humans, draw a card. This is kind of brutal just because you can build a really big board really quickly. It's quite nice.
Can you? Is there an extra combat shenanigan here, like with Combat Celebrant? Let me see. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human entered the battlefield under your control. Well, I know with certainty that you could use this with the extra turn enchantment, or extra combat, excuse me, additional combat enchantment of the
Yes,
Fury of the Horde.
it's great because it makes haste tokens, which is what you need to let that work. So
Oh, sorry.
there is an infinite here if you want to do that.
Yeah, ignore these. I'm sorry. There's so many more now. Fury of the Horde. Where is it? Breath of Fury. I'm sorry. Correct. So whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and attach Breath of Fury to a creature you control. It's important to note that they're still, they're not. They are 2/2 tramplers, so not very big. They are hasty. Obviously, a flyer in this situation would be the best because it has some evasion. But that is an infinite combo. The thing is, actually, though, you're making 2. So while you're netting a sacrifice every time you move Breath of Fury over, you're only sacrificing 1 creature. So you go up 1 every single time. So you'll actually just have, if someone has a flying blocker, leave them for last, like the Crom, logically, and then hit them with everything. So that's kind of cool. I like Eowyn a lot. It just, also the simple fact that you're getting a draw off of this trigger too after you've amassed an army. That's kind of dope, honestly. And you don't need you do need the trigger to go off. You don't need them all to be humans. Oh no, 6 or more humans. Whew, okay. You're gonna rely on that anyways. I didn't think it was that narrow, but I just read humans there.
I mean, it's not too bad though because there's enough incidental humans that you can get the trigger without building around, and in theory, you just need the trigger to happen twice to draw you cards. So
Yeah.
not hard.
Right. And you can get it to happen just off of a Combat Celebrant placement, right? If you're able to attack with that Combat Celebrant, I should say. But I would say that Combat Celebrant might be the other, like, trick up your sleeve because it is a human warrior. But I like that. I don't know. Like, the only thing that would make Eowyn even better is if, all your creatures had haste and not just these ones that are coming in. But that's a lot to ask potentially for a 5-drop. But I could say that this is easily better than Sauron. So,
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And hi, Majra. Did we see Saruman yet? No, we haven't. We're actually we're just going through the commanders right now. Yeah.
First, and then we can go to the good stuff
She looks
after.
very strong. That artifact that imitates Krenko would be fire with her. The artifact that imitates Krenko would be fire.
Oh, is that the new horn? I think there's I think in the main set there's a Horn of Gondor, which is like a Krenko artifact. We'll cover that.
We will
We'll
indeed.
cover that in a bit.
Banishing Light is a reprint, right? Okay.
Yep, everything is a reprint up until Bilbo.
Okay. So that will do it for these, but I'll let you take away Bilbo.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna do
Yeah.
Bilbo dirty like that.
No, not on his birthday. Don't worry. We'll get to talk about it.
Bilbo, birthday celebrant. White, black, green for a legendary creature, halfling rogue with 2 power and 3 toughness. If you would gain life, gain that much +1. You can also pay 2, a white, a green, and a black, tap and exile Bilbo, and then search your library for any number of creature cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only if you have 111 or more life.
You gotta say the line. You gotta say the line.
I don't know the line off the top of my head.
He says a lot when he's introducing himself, but like he adds a syllable to his. He's like, it's my 111th birthday. He like adds a syllable to 111. It's such a silly line delivery and probably one of my favorites from any film ever. Like anytime I watch that film with my fiance, I always get a kick of just like watching him announce that it's his birthday. It's so stupid. That when I saw this card, I'm like, there's no way that they made this. I wish that there was flavor text of him saying that iconic line. It's iconic to me.
Yeah.
All right, thoughts. I know you had some thoughts on Bilbo here.
So this is a really good Soul Sisters aristocrat style commander. I think that this is actually really strong to some extent. I don't know if this is like hardcore broken, but if you look at this in comparison with something like Timna Kodama, that deck can gain life and that deck can stacks out the game. This can do the same thing, but you can lean into the life gain even harder and have your commander just end the game. So I think that there's a good amount of potential here. Will it be high tier? Probably not, but it'll get stuff done.
It'll be birthday tier. I'd like
Yeah.
to. Let's see a build. If anyone has a build for Bilbo going, let us know. How are you celebrating Bilbo's birthday? I love this flavor. 111th. Yes. This Bilbo is the card I'm looking forward to the most in building, says Steven. If you can do the activated ability, then that's a win by itself. Honestly, I mean, once you do it, I hope it's a win. If you just do it and you reveal that all your creatures are just hate bears in like a gross amount, and all you wanted to do was just like swing a bunch of weenie hate bears at people with 111 more life, you're a jerk. I mean, it's your birthday, right? Do whatever you want, but we gotta meme this up, man. I feel like there's a birthday party to be had, and we should be the ones to throw it. I'll help celebrate Bilbo's birthday. This feels like a worthy deck to construct. But all right, we're gonna move away from.
Fun.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I think these are the ones. And like I said off the tippity top here, there are quite a lot to cover, and I believe that we should be all up to speed on Scryfall. But again, let us know if there's anything that has like just been announced fresh today, because again, there are announcements happening throughout the weeks leading up to the set. Go figure, right? Even Elijah Woods is getting in on the action. Have you seen any of the promotional videos with him, Will?
I have not.
It's all right. They're just a series of shorts. I would love it if Elijah played the game. He seems like such a genuine, sweet person. I absolutely love him. And he was great in Sin City. He was great. He was great in the Lord of the Rings franchise as well. The far off stare he gives when he's getting on the boat to leave with the elves. Oh my God, it gets again, me and my fiance every time. There are so many. It's crazy. I know, Mantra. We're hoping to join the fun this Wednesday. Let me take a little break before we jump in. I don't want to overcommit you to this, Will. I think we talked about it, though. We're going to be discussing some of our own spoilers for an upcoming set on Wednesday. So if you want to join us, there's actually 2 you get to spoil. And there's going to be some stuff coming up during that day leading up to the live stream. And then who knows, we might potentially get to do something with one of them. And Will has no idea what they are yet. I've seen the cards. I know what they do. They're pretty cool. I would say that one was more for like a draft or limited environment, whereas the other is maybe commander worthy. But we'll get to talk about it and discuss them live on Wednesday, and I'm excited for that. So we get to be part of the fun this go around, and hopefully part of more fun in the future. But did you want to start us off on Build a Pony? I think you ended with Bilbo, but maybe you have an affinity for ponies I don't know about.
I can discuss Bill the Pony. So Bill the Pony, 3 and a white for a legendary creature horse with 1 power and 4 toughness. When Bill enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens, sacrifice a food, and until the end of your turn, target creature you control deals combat damage with its toughness instead of its power. What is it called? Bum Rush? Let's go.
Yeah. What's that? I don't know. Wasn't there a tree that like makes it so all your trees do damage based on their toughness? Is
Yeah,
it
we've
multicolor?
gotten a couple of those, and I think we got
Right.
another one this set.
Actual Ent that does the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, I believe we have an Ent that does the exact same thing or a similar thing, and I think it also makes mana.
So let me just state this set.
It doesn't.
As you'd
I'm not-
imagined, there's a lot of legendaries in this set, and pretty much for any character you can think of, from the series. There is a character. Doran, thank you. Build the pony goes well with KCI. Ooh, enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens, sacrifice 2. I could see that if you have some sort of blinky sort of thing going on, a little blinky bill.
I mean, it's infinite with what is it? Eldrazi Displacer and KCI. Let's go.
Yeah,
Make infinite mana, make infinite life, and then make infinite foods. Let's go. Build a pony, OP.
yeah. So Eldrazi Displacer is 3 to do.
Yeah,
Right, and then you'll make
exactly.
one
2
net
food,
one.
and then you make 4 mana.
Yeah, he's nuts. He's nuts with KCI. We broke it. He's so good. All right. Let us know. Let's see. The Thalas. If you Thalas, if you build a pony KCI with Displacer, Eldrazi Displacer, let us know. We'd love to hear how well it goes. I'm sure it'll be great. Mono white. Everyone knows how powerful mono white is. Let's move on though. I feel like we'll get stuck if we don't. Bombadil's Song. For 1 generic and a green, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. The ring tempts you. And I think that's what tacks on the generic and its cost. This is just a good party starter. If you want to get the ring tempting you and just have the benefit of a little bit of evasion, as well as if you have a legendary matters list, this can make one of your things legendary. It's important to note that that is part of the first step here. I think moreover, if you're in a 2 to mono color, the hexproof and the +1/+1 are probably more relevant, specifically the hexproof. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
the
good.
evasion is also nice. Just can't be blocked by creatures that are bigger. It can be useful for some lists, but yeah, maybe you like that for your Timna. Make Timna the ring bearer, and then she can't be blocked by anything big.
Right. Yeah, no, and genuine, she's a 2/2, right? So yeah, I mean, there's you're gonna get in on someone definitely. I wouldn't say Bombadil's Song is for every deck, but I do like the hexproof. It's good, just good against removal. Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Look at those lamb chops.
Yeah,
Look at those lamb chops. The shield is sick as hell. You want to take this one away? Oh, there's Merry and Pippin.
your thing. So,
Okay.
2 and white for a 3/3 legendary creature, human soldier with vigilance. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell, sacrifice Boromir. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of the turn, and the ring tempts you. Uh, Pretty cool card because I'm gonna say in Tishar, good protection, and it lets you build up the ring. Once again, if the ring has no cap, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The little stacks effect at the beginning is also really nice because you just hate your opponent's rocks and they cry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. That eats away at so many free counters. I really like it. I really like it a lot. It's very cool for any way that an opponent was going to cheat out a thing, and we've seen a lot of it just from this last set where it's like reveal the top of your library. If it's this, you get to make a copy and cast it for free or cast it for free. It's like no, you don't. Sorry. Thankfully, I turned 1 this off of the Mana Crypt. But a 3/3 Vigilant Body with protection, like you said, and the ring. There's a lot going on here. It feels like a lot of value for 3 mana. A+ Boromir. One does not simply walk over Boromir.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And then we also let's see, is there anything cool about the flavor text? Farewell, Aragorn. Go to Minas Tirith and
Tirith.
sorry,
Yeah, you got
Tirith.
it.
Why is it? Yeah, go to Minas Tirith and save my people.
Yeah.
Nice. It is nice.
I like
Nice.
I think there's a version with better flavor text. Hold up.
Yeah, let's check.
No, it's a different Boromir, maybe. I think I saw a different one.
I think we've gotten to, yeah.
Do I get to talk about Ents Fury? I guess I do.
Yeah, if you'd like. You can also have Gandalf as well if you want to have a good card after this one.
We could glaze over this one. It's not too much to talk about. So for a generic and a green Ents Fury sorcery, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control if its power is 4 or greater. Okay, just make it bigger. Then that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn and fights target creature you don't control. I think green needs more kill spells. This is kind of a kill spell.
This is not it though. The 2 mana instants that say this creature does damage to another creature equal to its power are just better because there's no risk of your thing being killed and it's an instant. So
yeah. Fight does imply that your creature takes damage too. So yeah, it's rough, but good art. We like it. We like it for that. Gandalf the White. So we just had Elish Norn. It's going to read a little similar to her, but not quite the same. For 3 generic double white, 4/5 body, legendary creature avatar, wizard, flash, you may cast legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. Okay. If a legendary permanent or an artifact entering the or leaving the battlefield, I should say, causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Any thoughts to begin with? I haven't given this one much consideration. It's not too unlike our Elish Norn, like I was mentioning, except she can work with sagas. This will not, which would be really cool. Like the
Yeah.
kind of saga manipulation. I think that this is sort of like a 3-card combo with a lot of things, and I don't want to have to work that hard these days. I'm lazy. So you tell me what you want to do with Gandalf.
I will say it's another Shimmer Mirror because it's a flash card that gives your stuff flash. So
Mm-hmm.
we love those. We stand those. I honestly don't really care about the Panharmonicon effect too much, even though it has like a Panharmonicon and Death effect.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably something there that's really good. Double up your aristocrat, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Lets you do some weird things with a Leonin Relic Warden if you want to do the Leonin loop. Like, there's a couple things. I think that his home is probably gonna just be in like potential shimmers or stuff, even if that the double white hurts those decks a lot. So
Yeah, no, seriously. You want that for your Grand Abolisher. This is fine. I like Thaus's opinion on Gandalf with Skull Clamp, right? So that's kind of cool, actually. You can flash in the Skull Clamp if you got a Cigar to Zaid. Or just off Gandalf, I should say. Equip it, do the thing. It needs to, obviously, remove a permanent. Am I right? Right. So an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield. So if you, like, killed an artifact creature, it would
or
do that.
legendary creature.
Or
If
legendary
either one
creature.
dies, you draw four instead. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's good.
That is good.
It'll do some gross things in casual, I'm sure, but in competitive, I know it's probably just going to see play in the instant speed necro decks.
Yeah, mono white has to do a lot to compete, and I'm not sure it's doing enough. But last March of the Ents, good sir.
Yep, yep. Last March of the Ends. 6 green green for sorcery. This spell can't be countered. Draw equal to the greatest toughness amongst creatures you control, then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. This card is disgusting and casual because if you just have a semi big commander, people cry. And then in competitive, this is a cool card to play with Kodama because I will say you're gonna draw 6, put like 4 creatures into play, which each trigger Kodama, putting 4 non-creature permanents into play, and then they let you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It can do some stuff with Kodama, and then it does funny things with Raga Draga as well,
Mm-hmm.
because you cast it and give something +7/+7 and untap it, which means that you're probably gonna be drawing like 10 cards off of this.
Yeah, I would say that this is probably a Raga Draga card, and maybe even Sovala. Like sometimes with
It's
the
fantastic. Savala too.
right, the untappy buff spell, the one for infinite mana. I forget the name of it. It's a
Umbra
equipment.
Mantle.
Umbral Mantle. Umbral Mantle with this, obviously, you need to stop before you get to the point where you might deck yourself. But Umbral Mantle in this is really good, and Savala, initiates it herself, and she's always looking for good draw spells. Obviously, this being uncounterable is great, but I think the solution there is just to kill Savala. Um, it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good enough.
Yeah, I think it's a good card that's going to see play in a couple niche decks for competitive,
Hmm.
and for casual, this card is just going to be gross and casual.
Steven says good in Arcades. Good in Arcades.
If I remember correctly, is that the dragon?
So while you look that up instead, I'll read over Abby's
Yep,
comment here. I played
Arcades is
Teshar.
the big dragon.
Oh, you think it'll be good there?
It's the one that has each creature you control with defender can attack and assign damage with its toughness. It's that big dragon.
Okay,
It's good.
I can
It's
see that.
good.
Abby says, I played Teshar and Attorney the other night. I now realize the metagame is stale. Either the decks are Thoracle decks or full-blown stacks. Not much variety in playstyles in the format. For cEDH, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. There's the variety, I would say, comes in the nuance of certain cEDH lists, but the wins are generally the same, or they rely on the same sort of play lines with Intuition or Underworld Breach or you name it. Yeah, you'll get accustomed to that, but it's fun. I try to just play. I don't know about you, Will, but I play Commander casually for the most part. I just play with decks that are highly tuned or what people would consider competitive. Yeah, that's all I can really say about that. But I'm sorry that your local meta was stale. Pippin's Bravery, I'll take this one on. All the food, all the amazing food we're getting. Can I get the next one too?
Yes, you're good.
I keep hitting these combat tricks, which is fine. We don't have to talk about every card. I just wanted to give you guys a thorough opinion of the set. This is going to be in lieu of a set review. I do want to do another tier list once we've seen the legends. It's going to be like 7 hours long, dude, with the amount of legends there are. 1 green, instant speed. You may sacrifice a food. If you do, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Oh my gosh, Savala. Savala bait. Not at all. We've got better. Otherwise, that creature gets +2 and +2 until end of turn. Again, I think this will be fun to draft, and it's going to go well with the food shenanigans, but I can't say that it's going to fit into any list. Maybe Sam and Frodo, but that's very, very doubtful. Combat tricks are not a huge thing in a cEDH setting, but it could do. I mean, maybe more people should use combat tricks because you'll be able to get rid of that blocker that way. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes that is relevant. So, at any rate, Aragorn the Uniter. Yeah, that's a poll question. That's a poll question. Should cEDH see more combat tricks? Because honestly, I think you could punk some people out with that. Genuinely speaking, was there, you're gonna swing at their Crom and you just be like, oh shoot, I forgot, and they're like, I'll block with the Crom, and then you're like, I'm gonna use Pippin's Bravery and just thwart them. But I'm curious, does that happens all the time, and then it's like, okay, I guess I just messed up this attack.
My combat trick is lightning bolt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, did someone say that, or is that you?
That's me. That's just me.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Aragorn the Uniter for red, green, white, blue, 5/5 legendary creature, human noble, mythic rare. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Wow. Is there anything this guy doesn't do? Just not your taxes, or yeah, not draw. But yeah, the scry is kind of cool. So I hate to just name an infinite combo that cast a spell and think of all the things you can do. I think that food chain was the initial thing that we all thought collectively. The hive mind was oh my god, it's a new food chain commander. I'm I don't know, you and I will. We probably think of reiterate just as well. Any sort of reiterate line of play, we'll just kill someone. You could do any sort of isochron, dramatic reversal lines of play and scry through till you find your solution, a better solution while you're making infinite mana, and use a cantrip to pull it. It's it's just keyword. It's just not keyword soup. It's trigger soup with so many possibilities. There's so many ways you can kill the board with air. It's very good. This card's very good.
You can also just Underworld Breach and get a little bit of everything, all just kind of slow burning each opponent out with Aragorn's red effect.
Yeah.
He just makes everything a little bit better as a win con and lets you run all of the infinite setup cards, and he's usually the outlet for whatever you want to use for that win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that the blue and the red cast spell triggers are the better, favoring red because it's obviously a finisher. I do, and this is maybe a weird ask, I do wish that it hit any target, or at least I do wish it just hit any target for 3 damage, because
so insane.
Yeah, I mean, because you're making an army, and then your army can get over your opponent if you +4/+4, right? In a lot of cases, but I would love it if you could just remove the blockers, remove stuff from the. It would be very nutty if it just hit any target, but I like it a lot. There's not much else to say. I think that this is going to make a good deck if you're making Aragorn. I'll definitely want to read some of the commentary, though. I feel like you guys have thoughts on Aragorn. Majra says the famous Aragorn. I decided to play Alesha Hate Bears for pride. I can't wait to put Orcish Bowmaster in that deck. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Orcish
that
Bow.
card is gross.
Yeah, we should talk about it today. I think.
We're gonna get to it.
Need more feather-esque commanders to justify more combat tricks in cEDH, says Chris Danmeyer. That's true. Majra, I heard someone pretty petty used Berserk to kill other people's creatures. That does work. Thales says this guy screams food chain. Right. He definitely does. And that's, yeah, he definitely does. Chris, if your food chain creature is the Mist Hollow Griffin, then you can like scry till you hit your squee and then use your cantrip that way. You know, it's so cool. It's so cool. I like it a lot. But with combat becoming more prevalent in cEDH, tricks seem like a natural progression. Yeah. Majra, just play Elgeth in his deck. Elgeth? Do you know who Elgeth is?
Not off the top of my head, but it sounds familiar.
Oh, I'll tell you. For 4 generic in double blue, legendary creature Sphinx, 5/6 body. If you would scry a number of cards, draw that many cards instead. Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
makes it. That makes sense. That seems pretty good. Also a giant growth in Yargle and Multani. Yeah, that's pretty good. Put Elgeth in the deck and that scry will become draw. Thank you, Stephen, as well. Majra, a friend of mine agrees with you on his red effect. Yeah, it's narrow. I mean, it's hitting the right thing. I can say that. Like, yes, you want to use it as a finisher. If it only hit creatures, then we would all think it sucked. The fact that this hits opponents makes it super super good. I wish it was just a little bit more flexible because like none of these other things are really constrained. It's just the damage, but that's fine. At any rate, you want to take on Master Pippin?
Yep, yep. Pippin, Guard of the Citadel. A white and a blue for a 2/2 legendary creature halfling soldier with vigilance and ward 1. Tap. Another target creature you control gains protection from a card type of your choice until the end of the turn. This is just another Mother of Runes, and it's pretty good because you can just tap target and say creature, and your creature's unblockable, or you can hold it up for the regular protection. And the fact that it has Ward 1 means that people aren't going to try to kill it. Is it insane? Not really. I think Mother of
Mm,
Runes is still better, but
yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah, Mother Giver are probably more playable than Pippin just because you can place them so easily. I like the vigilance aspect and the ward. Like for the 1 blue in addition, it's pretty dope. I like it. It doesn't protect itself obviously like Mother could. Like she can block and protect herself and there's that whole shtick. So like you said, Will, it's not as good, but it's fine. And one more comment on Aragorn because it's true. Dockside Extortionist loops.
So true. Yeah. Any loop. Just name anything that would usually need another card to win, and then Aragorn can be that card.
Right, right. But obviously the infinite mana lines are best with red because you're gonna cast Aragorn and then you're gonna continue doing the thing. So yeah, Food Chain and Dockside and all of it. Please send your list. I'd love to see them. I'm very curious as to how people build it. But we have Quick Beam, Upstart, Ent for 4 generic and double green, excuse me, 5/6 body. Whenever Quick Beam, Upstart, Ent, or another tree folk enter the battlefield under your control, up to 2 target creatures get +2/+2 and gain trample until end of turn.
Funny.
It's cool. It's cool. I think 6 is high. I think 6 feels high for this. It will do a thing when it enters the battlefield, but up to 2, I kind of wish it was handing out like +1/+1 counters instead of a temporary +2/+2. But it's nice that it triggers. You know, I can see why they curbed it a little bit because other tree folk trigger this as well. And if tree folk tribal is what you want to do, and I could definitely see people making like Lord of the Rings decks to play with. This could be a fun potential mono green commander. I don't think it's going to see any sort of competitive use, but it's cool.
Now let me pitch to you Great Oak Guardian. ETB
Mm-hmm.
untap all your creatures and give them +2/+2. Flicker with
Right.
Team of Sabretooth and have enough dorks and you give all your stuff +infinity and trample.
I mean, I feel like Great Oak Guardian is already doing the job of Quick Beam, though. You know.
But not trample.
No. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So if you couldn't get in with one of those tree folk, then this will give you the trample necessary. You just leave them in the command zone until you're ready for that play, and then you cast them the once, and you're like, okay, let's go. This is a repeat. We won't go over that, but we have Mary. Oh, you get both Mary and Pippin, Will.
Yeah, let's go. All right, so we got Mary. Uh, a red and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature, halfling knight with haste. Uh, Mary has first strike as long as it's equipped, and whenever you attack with Mary or another legendary creature, draw a card, and another legendary creature. So it's interesting, it's fun, it's not great. Like it's 2 mana, 2/2 haste first strike that can draw you a card.
As long as it's equipped.
Yes, I'm assuming that it's equipped, and I'm assuming that you have another legendary creature. It's it's awkward because if you want to make this your commander, you're gonna have a very limited amount of other legendary creatures that you can play, especially considering that you want to go for Voltron.
Have they spoiled a Mary and Pippin partners with duo?
I don't think so.
Because obviously, this effect sort of like screams partners with Pippin. Like you get the protection from Pippin, and then you'd get the legendary off of Pippin for the attack with Mary. Like if these two really wanted to be partnered together, and they so clearly didn't partner them. And it would have worked too in much the same way as our trip-colored Sam and Frodo. But yeah, that's it's a little upsetting. I think it's just okay. Moving on. Samwise Gamgee, Selesnya, 2/2, halfling peasant, legendary creature. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token. That's right, non-token though, so don't get too excited. You got to do it the old-fashioned way. Sacrifice 3 foods. Return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. So, is KCI the solution to everything here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So KCI is probably what you're going to be doing here if you want to go something hardcore, because the loops of what you're going to be using a lot of the time will have like 1 to 2 creatures in it. So you can at least gain infinite life or do your loop a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the fact that you can also keep recurring the stuff from your graveyard using Sam is kind of insane, because there's probably some way to do the KCI lines even easier because of that. So Sam is good. Sam is quite good.
Okay, so KCI plus Mer Retriever plus, well, I mean, do you even need Mer Retriever? Scrap Trawler, right? Or you could just do the thing, the creature that makes it so that whenever you create a token, you create 3 tokens, like 1 food, 1 treasure, 1
Academy Manufacturer.
So that
yeah, like I think that Samwise has some pretty decent usage, and he can do work.
Right. I mean, you're in Celestia, so you do have creature tutors. I will say getting to KCI is going to be the toughest part here, obviously. But it's fine. It's fine. I like it.
You can subvert the difficulty of finding it just by tutoring for your tutor creatures that can find KCI, like the Koldatha Forge Master and all that. And green can do that kind of well.
You do need to sacrifice 3 food here, so just stow the food, but it could be useful for recovering like KCI if it gets broken or something.
Yeah, like nothing insane here, but not bad.
Samwise plus Cauldron Familiar. Any sack outlet is potential target for a Hulk pile.
That is pretty true, actually. That's quite nice.
This is an oldie, but definitely an interesting one. So if you guys don't know Cauldron Familiar, for a black, it's a cat. 1/1. Oh, looks like my cat. When Cauldron Familiar enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and gains 1 life. Sacrifice a food. Return Cauldron Familiar from your graveyard to the battlefield. So yeah, you could do. I mean, you have so much left. You could use Carrion Feeder, right?
Yeah, Carrion Feeder works. So you sacrifice the cat to Carrion Feeder. sacrifice food, get back the cat, and get a food. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
Mm-hmm. I like this though. Chris is saying that Samwise is a huge Hulk upgrade, right? I can agree. I mean, it's weird. I don't know many people on Protean Hulk right now, but yeah, it's like I haven't even thought for Protean Hulk in a long time. So thanks for bringing that up.
I will say it is a combo that's condensed enough that you can actually get out Grand Abolisher with the other combo pieces. So
Yeah,
that is a massive upgrade.
that's so true. That's so interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, in Bilbo's deck then. Yeah, you put it in Bilbo's deck. Protean Bilbo. It's his birthday. What does Protean Hulk say? What's he wait, doesn't Protean Hulk have fun text? Protean Hulk has fun flavor text. Meat and eggs we eat. Just for his birthday. Right. Okay. So yeah, slam it,
What if
people.
Fighting Hulk get Bilbo for his birthday? Meat and eggs, apparently.
Yes. Is it my go? Sure. Let me just go over Voracious Fellbeast for us. 4 generic, double black, 4/4. When Voracious Fellbeast enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Create a food token for each creature sacrificed this way. Oh damn. Move over, Gary. You're no longer needed. No, I don't know.
Cool card. Let's never talk about it again.
Yeah. Good. Cool art. Cool card. Samwise Gamgee, is this the art you use when you are using Protean Hulk lines of play? I don't know. But I'll let you go with Gothmog.
So, the edgiest name ever. Let's go. 3 and a black for a legendary creature, human soldier with 3 power and 3 toughness. Whenever Gothmog enters the battlefield, amass orcs 1. Creature tokens you control have death touch. It's fine. It's not good, but it's fine.
It's pretty
There's
metal.
some niche token deck out there that probably wants to give everything death touch. It'll be slotted in the 99 there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Gothmog. We are Gothmog.
Yeah, that sounds like a metal band.
Right?
That
Like,
sounds like a metal band.
look at this guy holding that whip with like his little orcs just like looking at him. It does sound like it does definitely sound like a metal band. Mirkwood Bats. Okay, so just bear in mind that a lot of these cards are just for drafting. Okay, I just want to say with Magic the Gathering, when you play, much of what you see is for the draft experience, right? So Mirkwood Bats, 3 generic, 1 black, 2/3 body. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. So this is like a different flavor of Aristocrat. But
Not great, not terrible. Like it can burn.
costly.
If it was 2 mana instead of 4 and it was like a 1/1,
Yeah.
I'd play it. But the fact that it's 4 kind of sucks.
Yeah, you know what? Make it one black, non-flying 0/1, and I would play it.
Yeah, it would be amazing if it was that.
Why did it have to be this brawly bat? Yeah, gosh. Okay. I like the kind of horn ears it has, though. That's cool.
Yeah, art's good. Art's fantastic.
Yeah, art's good.
And
Art's
we
been
also got we got those roid legs, which is why it's a freaking 2/3.
exactly. Yeah, that's the 3. The sweet little roid legs, and then the
Yeah.
fangs are again 2 for the fangs. Do you want to take on Legolas, or should I take on
Yep.
Legolas? Okay, go for it.
Legolas, Master Archer. 1 green for a legendary creature, Elf Archer with 1 power, 4 toughness, and reach. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Legolas, put a +1/+1 counter on Legolas. Whenever you cast a
Ooh.
spell that targets a creature you don't control, Legolas deals damage equal to his power to up to 1 target creature. Very cool control tool. There's probably some fun stuff that you can do with this as your commander because you can definitely buff his power pretty high and then draw equal to power or something, and just remove all of your opponent's cheeky stuff. I don't think it's going to see any play in cEDH, but this is probably fun and casual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some love for the Mirkwood Bats coming in, by the way. Abby says Mirkwood is good in casually optimized Prosper lists, and Mirkwood Bats says Majra look perfect for my Tivit deck. So hey, I guess we're dead wrong. show us the bats. And Legolas, are we wrong on this one? Is it strictly casual? Let us know. I just want to say again on the art front, I love that they elected to render this, the illustrator here, Campbell White, with like the bow mid shot, right? So you see like the flexion of the string and the bow staff itself, and then the arrow sort of like flickering. So sick. It almost makes me wish he had double strike. I know only because of the visual aspect makes me feel like he should have double strike, but also Have you seen this guy fire arrows? He's absurd. Like I could totally see him having double strike, which would
He's
make
also
the
shooting 2 arrows in the art, so
right. Well, or is it 2 arrows, or is that just like one arrow getting like you're just seeing the after image of an arrow like leaving the string? I don't
if
know.
it's flicking like that, then he's doing a crappy job shooting that bow. You do not want the tip doing this as you're shooting it.
Well, I say double strike or no Legolas for me. Because
I,
because then he's like really cool. Then he's sort of like a really cool combat centric commander, right?
yeah,
But
they could have definitely given him double strike and no one would have complained too badly, I think.
no, but reach and double strike is too powerful. Okay, so I've always wanted to build Anthusa for casual, but Legolas is better. Anthusa? Anthusa.
Is that the Hydra?
I don't know.
Let's
Anthusa, citizen hero. For 3 generic double green heroic, whenever you cast a spell that targets Anthusa, citizen hero, up to 3 target lands you control become 2/2 warrior creatures. They're still lands.
got it.
Yeah, this would be a dope alternative for that. I'll try this out instead. We've got
Yeah.
Sauron, the Dark Lord. I'll take it. Oh, look at this one. Is this not what we... They feel so similar.
This is the better Sauron. So you want me to take this one?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
3 generic Grixis, because I love Grixis so much. 7/6 legendary creature avatar horror ward, sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. So it could be the ring or it could be Frodo, if he could only get his hands on him. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. That's right, you're gonna get 1 orc, really big. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. Okay. Sure. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4 cards. Oh, well, that sounds intriguing. That last bit of text. If you really must play Sauron, and I mean that's why you buy into a set named Lord of the Rings: Tales of Middle Earth. This is the one. This is the one. And just for that last effect, if we're being honest, and so they're sacrificing a legendary artifact or creature. So in Commander, like it's you sacrifice your commander to get rid of their commander, or a legendary artifact would be your Mox Amber. I don't know. Like you got to sacrifice something to make this happen. But it's kind of cool.
Never getting removed. It's
Yeah.
never getting removed. Let's be honest. So I will say this card is actually really, really good. I don't like not insane levels of good, but it's quite playable.
2 levels
Because
of
once
really.
you get this out, you start getting a card that gets scarily big because it's getting built up whenever any of your opponents cast anything, and you're probably controlling the game with this deck because you're Grixis. That's what you do. So this is going to be hitting for like 10 or like 15 very easily, the Orc army alone. And then this also punches for 7, which is like the magic number for Commander because that's a 3 hit to kill.
I wish the orcs you controlled also had ward sacrifice, because like I could just see like it'll get big enough to the point where it's a threat and then you'll remove it, but you will proceed to continue doing it. So I do like that it's on the opponent cast. I do like that element of the card. Another situation where I wish the orcs had double strike. I wish the character had double strike. I just love double strike with combat damage effects. But yeah, the ring tempts you, being able to swap through your hand. It's all good. It's all good. I think this one's reasonable and respectable as a potential cEDH commander. Like again, Grixis is pretty potent by itself, so you'll do a lot just by virtue of the fact you're in those colors.
Yep.
You want to take on Gimli, sir? Oh, more on Sauron. It seems like the audience is liking Sauron, or not liking Sauron.
It is just a very good card in general, because depending on the rest of the tempt effects that we have, this could probably go through your deck quite quickly, because draw 4 is nothing to scoff at.
So, Loremax would like to state that that's 2 arrows. I was just at an archery event where some of the advanced shooters would start with 2 arrows for speed events, just like Legolas would. And double strike anyone?
Like have double strike, yeah.
Double strike anyone? All right, I just thought it was like visual trickery, but that you just confirmed what I was saying. Double strike. But Will.
Yeah, let's go. All right, so I'll cover like these two really quickly. So first, Gimli. One, a red and a green for a legendary creature, dwarf warrior with 3 power and 2 toughness. Gimli has indestructible as long as two or more creatures died under your control this turn. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Gimli. When this effect resolves for the third time, Gimli fights a creature that you don't control. This is a good flavor one. This is a nice little nod to the first movie because, yeah, Gimli just got pissed off and started wailing on the thing that killed all of his friends. Let's
Mm.
go.
I dig it. Yeah, it's a flavor win for sure. I would say that uh,
Gruul
I
is
don't
not
know.
the color set that you want to have a sacrifice commander with, though. Like a have all your stuff die. You want
There's,
it to be in some kind of black.
there's a lot of token generation though, so there's that. But this is where you use your fight spells like in a regular amount, where you just like you're sacrificing your things to just die upon fighting your opponent's things. Um, it's fine. I would say that there are some uncommons that are better than this, and this is in the rare slot. So I hope you don't pull it. But do you want to go on to the next one?
Yep. Long list of the Ents. This is an enchantment saga with one chapter that goes up to chapter 6 on this one chapter. So, chapter one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Note a creature type that hasn't been noted from this. Whatever you cast your next creature spell of that type this turn, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it.
Imagine if this saga had the read ahead or read through effect. It's just like, do you want to just skip to
Yeah, you just want
the?
to have this blow up, 1 mana, do nothing. Let's go. So
It's cool.
it's
Changeling.
it's interesting. It lets you get some +1/+1 counters, and it's like 1 mana get upwards of 6 +1/+1 counters throughout the game. So like, it's not terrible, not great, but not terrible.
Well, does this play well into like a Marath Will of the Wild kind of
And
thing?
no, only because it's when the next one, when let's see, when you cast your next creature spell of that type. So
It could help like start up a Cryptolith Trilobite kind of thing, or like a I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. You're just running hardened scales. You're running other things that do the thing better, but this is kind of cool for. So does
one
the
mana, just tick it up a little. That's
right,
it.
right, right. But like if you do a tree folk and then you do an elf in the same turn, do they both get +1/+1 because there's two instances of this going off, or it's not? It's no, it's not even there anymore. What am I talking about? Yeah, this is weird, but it'll inform you to what's in your opponent's hand. How about that?
Yeah.
Moving on. We have Witch King of Angmar for 3 generic, double black, amazing art, 5/3 body, Wraith Noble. Ah, Wraith Nobility, my bane. Flying. Whenever one or more creatures deals combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn. Wow, so, okay. The ring tempts you. Discard a card. Witch King of Angmar gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
Hit me.
Oh, right, exactly. Um,
Nothing to really note of this card. Like your opponents punch you, you kill their stuff and get a little bit of value. Okay.
Mythic Rare.
If
Gotcha.
your opponent has a like Voltron deck, this is
Yeah,
your commander to piss them off.
exactly. Mono black solely to piss them off. Yeah, meh. Meh, Majra's right. It's a meh. It's a meh from me,
Yeah,
dog.
it is a very big meh.
You get the good, cool one, though.
Yeah, this card is like gonna be the staple card from the set. Orcish Bowmaster, 1 and a black for a creature orc archer with 1 power and 1 toughness and flash. Whenever this enters the battlefield, or whenever an opponent draws a card except for the first card drawn during each of their draw steps, this deals 1 damage to any target, then you amass orcs 1. Holy crap. So cast Wheel of Fortune, deal 21 damage, divided as you choose amongst permanents. Flashes in response to an enemy wheel to do the exact same thing. Play into an opponent's Ristic Study to kill them. Get sack fodder whenever an opponent draws a card so that you can build up your goblin bombardment or anything else. In addition to also being a really insane card with curiosity, because whenever an opponent draws a card, they take one and you draw a card. Holy crap.
Does it upset anyone that the Bowmasters are better than Legolas?
I know.
Like, just infinitely better than Legolas. Like, supremely playable. Like, you
Yeah.
could have put Flash and Double Strike on Legolas and no one would have batted an eye, and they'd be like, that's 3 CMC. But then you make this guy a generic and a black, super splashable. Did we need more ways to punish people for drawing cards? Like, this is so good. And like the one damage is just gonna get out of hand. You're just gonna nuke board. And you're also just making a side army on top of this. It just doesn't it doesn't make sense. Like the fact that it also just does it on entering whenever it enters, or and whenever an opponent draws a card. I don't know.
ETB kill a dork.
Yeah, minimum, right? Does it need both those things to be true? Does it need to have entered and whenever an opponent? Then it's limited, but that's not how I'm reading it. So it's pretty good. A plus. This is card design.
This is like S tier. This is like the highest rank that we can give out of this.
Right. Right.
You could have removed Flash. You could have removed the ETB part, and you could have removed the Amass Orcs effect, and this card still would have been playable.
Yeah, and rare, by the way.
Yeah.
Because he's just a rare. I'll get some of your opinions in the audience, though. I feel like there's some thoughts here. Orcish Bowmaster is going to be a staple. I plan on putting it in Alessia and Brina. Brina lets your opponents draw a card, and in return, you make your creatures big. I have my eyes on those orcs. Those look sexy, says Majra. It's true. Peer into the abyss. Someone. Yeah, exactly. Peer into the abyss. Someone. Just like, here. Take half of your deck, lose half your life. I'll do the rest. I will do the rest and just kill you. That is so funny. You deflecting sweats. I don't know. There's so much stuff you could do with this. You could just snipe your opponent if you want to. Yeah. Does this orc hate wheels out of the format? No, I wouldn't say
Wheels
that.
are still gonna be played.
But that's just so gross that it has flash, like unnecessarily so. Tell me how these big orcs have flash. I just don't understand.
Really
Anyway,
quick, Mayhem Devil.
right?
Mayhem Devil also sees play, and it has another color in it, doesn't have flash, and it is much harder to trigger
Right.
because your opponents can just choose not to sack anything.
Right. This
There's
puts it
no
to
play
shame.
around against this card.
It just puts it to shame, man. Like that, I was
Yeah.
thinking of Mayhem Devil too when I saw this. I'm like, this will put Mayhem Devil out of play. Like if you're on Mayhem Devil, like sure the Dockside treasures are annoying, and then your fetch lands. This is just better. This is just better in my opinion because draw is far more prevalent in a cEDH setting than I don't know the sacking of objects. But it does stop certain play lines. Don't get me wrong, Mayhem Devil still is good, but I think that Orcish Bowmaster is just absurd. For the cost, it will be an expensive rare, mind you. So get ready to, cough up some cash. We don't need to go over the Nazgul, but I think we can go to Aemir if you want to.
Oh, I'd like to cover Nazgul just really quickly.
Oh, sure. There's 9 different arts, by the way.
We're only going to go over one of them, obviously. Pick
This
your
one.
favorite. We can hover over that.
We'll do this one.
So Nazgul, 2 and a black for creature wraith knight with death touch, 1 power, and 2 toughness. When Nazgul enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, put a +1/+1 counter on each wraith you control. You can have up to 9 of this card in your deck. This is a very good card, just because it's whenever the ring tempts you, buff all of your Nazgul and other wraiths. When it enters, the ring tempts you, meaning that this is probably one of the easier ways to get the ring to tempt you. And it gets the ring on one of the Nazgul pretty likely. So in casual, this card is going to be kind of scary. I feel like Nazgul decks are going to be a fun meme deck that people will build.
Could you imagine if This was like one of those other creatures that when it enters, it finds all of its type and puts it into your hand. Oh,
Oh,
that would have been so broken. I'd have loved that. As it stands, you'll need to find them the old-fashioned way. I guess there are things that search via name, though, and not just exile them. Like there might be a way to fish these out, so you just have an army of them, which would be kind of cool. But no, I agree. There's a lot going on here. I don't think they're bad. Obviously, 3 mana, 1/2 Death Touch by itself is solid with all these upsides. So
3 mana, 1/2 Death Touch. The ETB gets tempted by the ring and then puts a counter on itself. And I
mhm.
want to point out, if you have all 9 on the field and then you get tempted by the ring, that's +9/+9
That's true. So
on all of them, which is +81/+81.
all right, give us the best Nazgul list, and don't say which King of Angmar. Okay, it's not going to be which King of Angmar, but let us know how you would slam 9 Nazgul. I just want to hear. I just want to see the table that has 9 Nazgul down and like goes for it. Because you're right, that that is a lot of damage if you can make the dream come true. But I think some people are still talking about the Orcish Bowmaster here. So one suggestion was that Chris was saying that this might run wheels out of the format, and Majra is saying no, this will enable wheels. And I think that's because if you cast a wheel into your opponent with this, then yeah, it just makes it worse. Just makes it really worse for them. I can agree with that. Shieldred and Nekusar need more tools. I'm not complaining. I play Nekusar. Blueform plays this, but Blueform also hates this, right? They should have done different artwork for the 7 dwarves. I don't. I
Oh,
don't.
there's the 7 dwarves back from Throne of Eldraine, where it's
Oh,
like they get +1/+1 whenever a dwarf enters your battlefield, or they
right.
have +1/+1 for every dwarf. So I agree. That would have been
Yeah,
fun.
they should have. I mean, that was sort of the theme, right? But they failed on the flavor there, but they didn't fail here. But Will, are you on Aemir? You want to do Aemir?
I can do that if you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Aemir, 2 red for a legendary creature, human knight with haste. Whenever one or more other attacking legendary creatures you control die, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn. This card goes infinite with Blade of Selves.
Oh yeah.
Yep, because you attack with this, get 2 copies of Ormir that both enter attacking and then die to the legend rule, each see each other die and give you 2 more combats, and then they trigger the once per turn on each other, so each token that you make has its own independent once per turn. So you get infinite combats.
All right. So this is the myriad trick, and whenever one or more attacking legendary creatures you control dies, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's additional combat phase. This ability only triggers once each turn. So you're suggesting you strap this to Aemir, you make 3 additional Aemirs per opponent. They all die but one, right? The one
Yeah,
that's
so it's
equipped.
you make 2 Aomirs because it's for the other opponents that are being or the other opponents that are not being attacked by Aomir get an Aomir attacking them.
Mhm.
So you just go infinite.
Okay. Is it good?
No,
Is this the
it's a
new
combo,
Goto?
but it's not good.
Is this I was gonna say, is this new Goto Helm? It's a little bit cheaper.
No,
It doesn't find Blade of Selves, sadly.
yeah, nowhere near Godo
If
home.
it found Blade of Selves, if it would put it on the battlefield,
Then it would be like competing with Godo, I'd say.
maybe better. Because Treasonous Ogre, you wouldn't have to lose that much life.
Yeah, it because it's 8 instead of 11 if you did it like that, but thankfully it doesn't.
Okay, moving on. Thank you for the combo, sir. Will's
You're
combo
welcome.
corner concludes. We're going to discuss Foray of Orcs. Guess what this one does? 3 generic and a red, uncommon, amassed Orcs 2. When you do, Foray of Orcs deals X damage to target creature an opponent controls, where X is the amassed army's power.
4 mana kill a creature. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's a little high costed for the effect here.
Yeah.
I think it could have said amass orcs 4.
I think it could have said deal damage to each creature instead, something like
That
that.
would have been better. And that flavor wise, that makes more sense to me because this says orcs plural. You're getting one singular army of orcs, but they're not dealing damage to everything. They just get to kill one thing.
You're just really wailing on that one guy.
It's yeah, it's like is it dead yet? Yeah, exactly. I I am gonna move on. Let's go to Saruman of Many Colors for 3 generic white, blue, black avatar wizard 5/4 super metal artwork. I love the artwork for this Saruman, and then there's a very similar style Gandalf out there as well. But ward, discard an enchantment, instant, or sorcery card. So, you know, your Rhystic Study, your Force of Will, or your, I don't know, what's another one? Brainstorm is sorcery. Is Brainstorm sorcery or instant speed?
It's instant. People would not play it if it was a sorcery.
It's still good. At any rate, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, each opponent mills 2 cards. When one or more cards are milled this way, exile target enchantment, instant or sorcery card with equal or lesser mana value than the spell from an opponent's graveyard. They might be discarding them to your ward. Copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Well, obviously, stealing someone's fish after the fact is cool. You need to be spell slinging quite a bit. This feels like odd value.
Yeah, it's mill, but it's also grave hate, which is makes it fine that you're milling, and you can just kind of control out the game, just slinging instants here and there, and just keep milling each player every single turn, and kind of grinding out value that way. I think it's pretty good because as long as you don't hit a rule of law effect, you just keep controlling the game.
Huh. So Majra says, finally, my love. He is open-handed. He's so cool. He's the one I want to build so bad. Saruman of Many Colors. Let's see it. He may as well have hexproof.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
In casual, people would probably be willing to pay that ward. In competitive, people are going to be dying on the inside.
Right. The fact that it's not like each of your turns and each turn, like this is better than I'm probably giving it credit, but it's just 6 CMC is quite a lot. Because I feel like you're not going to do much with him when he hits the field initially, right? Unless you like get probe someone for free and also counter on that same turn or something. Yeah, it's fine. I like it.
I also just want to say Gandalf the White, Gandalf the Fool. You can play that game, Saruman the White. Or should I say, Saruman the Stupid, Saruman the Silly, Saruman the Wrinkly, Saruman Stinky.
This poor guy. Yeah.
I love that. That meme has got me so bad, and I cannot look at this man without thinking about that anymore.
I will make it work, says Majra. Oh, I want to see it. Leave a deck list after the video. I'm sure people would love to see Saruman of Many Colors working. But Hugh the Entwood, do you want to take it away, good sir?
Sure thing. Hugh the Entwood, 3 red for sorcery. Sacrifice any number of lands, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands sacrificed this way. Choose any number of artifact and or land cards revealed this way. Put all non-land cards chosen this way onto the battlefield, then put all land cards chosen this way onto the battlefield. Tapped. Then put the rest of the cards into the bottom of your library in any order. So, this card's pretty freaking nice with any top deck rigging effect because you can put your giant artifacts into play off of this. It's quite good. You can do some scroll rack stuff. It's not fantastic, but like it's interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Where's that meme from, by the way, Will?
Oh, the just in general or
Yeah, in general.
So it was made by this one YouTube channel that does like a bunch of comedic shorts and like bits. I don't know the name, but I did send it to you on Discord like forever ago.
Yeah, I remember. Is it Solid JJ?
I think it might be Solid JJ. That might be where the audio came from.
Gotcha.
Because let me see if I can quickly hop onto YouTube and find the because I have the video I sent you, but it's the animated one.
Mm-hmm. I agree with everything Will said on Hugh the Entwood. I can't think of much else to say on this one, so we will move on to Storm of Saruman. So, for 4 generic double blue enchantment, Ward 3. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, gotta be your second one. And Abby was saying, rule of laws everywhere. Yeah, it's true. Each turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. You may choose new targets for the copy. Urza's Ruinous Blast.
I mean, it can copy a permanent spell as well. So you can copy your commander or something.
Mm-hmm. Right, I'm trying to think of like legendary spells that you could just have fun with. Exile everything. Again. Yeah, it's cool. It's a 6 to drive out there, but the effect is pretty great, so I like it.
Yeah, self-protecting enchantment that doubles up some stuff sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, comparing it to Thousand Year Storm, I'd rather play Thousand Year Storm, but
Right.
still playable. So,
Majra, you would like Saruman Storm. Are you gonna play it in Saruman of Many Colors? That's the question. And that art is pretty dope. Yeah, it's good. Do you like it? What would you do with it? Dream scenario, Will. Hit me.
me, extra turn Storm.
Yeah,
Double up your extra turn spells. That's the best that I can think.
that's not bad.
I will say the Gandalf the White, Gandalf the Fool clapback video was originally done by Skirleton. So Skurleton. So just for whoever wants to look up that guy because he made a quite the funny video.
You want to do a Dunland Crebain?
Sure thing. So Dunlin Crebain, 2 and a black for a bird horror 1/1 with flying, and when this enters the battlefield, the mass orcs too. That's it. It's Stormcrow, but orcs.
Yeah, Orc Crow.
Yeah. I
Nice.
can cover the next couple as well.
Yeah.
Uh, Elephant. It's freaking how the
Oliphant.
frick do you pronounce this?
Oliphant. You're good. You're close.
Oliphant. Thank you. I was just like, wow, that's something I won't be able to pronounce.
Yeah.
So Oliphant. Creature elephant, 6 power, 4 toughness, trample. Whenever this attacks another target creature you control gets +2/+0 and trample until the end of the turn. Mountain cycling.
Hmm.
Big stats, dumb creature doesn't do enough.
Nasty end.
And then Nasty End is 1 and a black for instant. As an additional cost, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. If the sacrificed creature was legendary, draw 3. This
Ooh.
is just Tavish Zot, but as a one-time instant speed thing. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah. I also like the fact that, the ring tempts you, makes legendary creatures, so like you'll get there. You'll
Yeah.
get there with Nasty End. I like it a lot. I think the next one is Nasty End and Dunlin Kraban. We've talked about Mary, we've talked about Legolas, we've talked about Gimli. These are alt arts for you guys. Rising of the Days, we have not talked about, I don't think, and I don't think it's a reprint of anything. Creatures you
It is
control
not.
have, huh?
It is not. It is not a reprint.
For 2 generic and 1 red, creatures you control have haste. Oh, love a good haste enabler. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. How about that?
Yeah, it's another haste enabler. I know that people play the 3 mana, all your stuff has haste enchantment, so this is just another one that also has another benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, thinking about it, how happy are you going to be using what is it called? Call of the Ring in your Rograk Tevish Zot deck to keep making the thralls into legendary creatures to sacrifice to Tevish?
That's so true. Very happy. To all the naysayers that are telling me Phyrexian Arena is better, I'm telling you. It's going to be very good there. But yeah, this deck dependent. I like it. I think Rising of the Day is fine as well. It's just nice to have another static haste enabler. Oh my god, this Orcish Bowmaster is the one to get. Not only is it part of a collage, but it looks amazing. Aragorn the Uniter we've discussed. Treason of Isengard, however, we have not.
Treason of Isengard, 2 and a blue for a sorcery. Put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard into the top of your library and amass orcs too. There are cards that do this, but better. So, sad.
Big sads. You want to do Smite the Deathless?
Yep, Smite the Deathless, 2 in a red for an instant. This deals 3 damage to target creature. That creature loses indestructible, and if it would die, it's exiled. Good removal. Lightning Bolt's better.
Yeah. Although I gotta say, that scene in the film is probably one of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
Right?
it's good.
Yeah, it's so damn good. Oliphant's great art. Sad card. Galadriel, Gift Giver. We have not gone over this Galadriel quite yet. I'll send us off on this. For 3 generic, double green, 4/4 legendary creature, Elf Noble. When Galadriel, Gift Giver, enters the battlefield or attacks, guess what she's doing? Giving gifts. Put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature, so it can't buff herself. Big sad. It's not a gift if you just give it to yourself. Create a food token. Gotta love it. Or create a treasure token, you say.
Yes,
Not as
all
good
of
as...
these things are equal. All of those choices are definitely equally valid, and it's not like people are only going to be making the treasure all of the time.
Right. I think that it's going to be a treasure generator for the most part.
Probably not going to see play, sadly.
No. None of those other effects are as good. She could give out 2 +1/+1 counters, and I still think I'd make a treasure. Yeah, not that good. Aemir, we've gone over. Legolas, we've gone over. Barad-dûr. This land we haven't. I can touch on this land really quick before I move forward. Barad-dûr enters the battlefield tapped. Tough, really. Thanks for subscribing. Luckily, I was looking down there at the right time. Tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Well, guess what? When the ring tempts you, you do. Your ring bearer is legendary, folks. Tap for a black. Double X and a black. Tap amass orcs X. Activate only if a creature died this turn.
I will say that this is a very fun combat trick, because if a Timna's trying to kill you, you can have someone bolt an elf or something like that, and you just pay a bunch of mana and kill the Timna.
It's an expensive trick, but
Yeah.
a trick nonetheless. Yeah. Is it something we recommend? Sure. Yeah, try it out. Report back to us. But Prince Imrahil, the Fair, would you like to take this one, good sir?
So I can quickly cover this. So the prince costs a white and a blue for a legendary creature, human noble with 2 power, 2 toughness. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, make a 1/1 white human soldier token. You make tokens. That's cool. That's pretty much it.
Yep, stops right there. You want to
Yep.
shoot Shadow of the Enemy as well.
We really quick. We did it, guys. We broke Ristic Study. We get the
Oh,
we get a
God.
1/1 creature every turn now.
Yeah,
Shadow of the Enemy, though, is actually a little bit more notable. So, 3 and black, black, black for sorcery. Exile all creatures from target player's graveyard. You may cast spells from among those cards as long as they remain in exile using mana of any color to cast those cards. This is basically just put someone's graveyard into your hand, and it doesn't contribute to hand size. In cEDH, this won't see any play. In casual, this can be delightfully brutal.
I like it. I think the cost is high, but I think the effect is pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Yeah, there's so I'm trying to gauge where we are. There's a lot to cover. Some of these are repeats, so I'm gonna skip ahead to Knights of Dol Amroth. We don't have to say too much. We could just like go right through them. 3 generic and a blue, 3/3. Whenever you draw a second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on Knights of Dol Amroth. Nothing to say there. Saruman's Trickery for 1 generic and double blue, uncommon instant, counter target spell. Ooh, that's always good. Amass Orcs 1. Again, there are other counters you're going to want to play. And Arwen's Gift, 3 generic and a blue. This spell costs 1 less to cast if you control 2 or more legendary creatures. Rough times. Scry 2, then draw 2. That's not horrendous. Is that horrendous?
It's kind of mediocre.
And I'll do one last one. I think we have not touched on Fangorn Tree Shepherd. It's 4 generic and trip green for a 4/10 Legendary creature tree folk. Tree folk you control have vigilance. Whenever one or more tree folk you control attack, add twice that much green. That's right. So if one tree folk were to attack, you would create 2 green. Yes? Yes.
Yep.
You don't lose unspent mana as steps and phases end. Okay. Anything fun you can think to do in mono green?
Big mana. That is it.
Much
I'm gonna
mana.
quickly clean out my eye because my eye is burning for some reason.
Oh yeah, I drop it, sir.
One sec.
I drop it. Yeah. No worries. I won't cover anything great. Maybe. Okay. I'm gonna cut through here while Will is doing surgery on his eye. Arwen's gift should have just said affinity for legendary creatures, but hey. Yeah, I honestly just hate when good art goes to waste because there's so many cards with amazing art in the history of Magic the Gathering, and a lot of this stuff is just relegated to being bulk and like getting discarded or found on like the floors of your LGS, which is tragic. But Swarming of Moria, 2 generic and a red, creature sorcery speed, create a treasure token, then amass orcs 2. So it pays for itself, so it's virtually like 2 generic to cast this. Swarming of Moria, I am on. And then you amass 2. So basically you're getting, for 2 generic, you're getting a 2/2 body and a treasure. It's not bad. Oh, Will, I can't hear you.
Sorry, forgot to unmute. So 2 mana make a 2/2 basically.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's color fixing kind of, if you want to think of it that way. It's not like it's, you know, really, it's not like a Manamorphose or something, but you are able to fix your colors with that treasure there. Olakai Crusher. I'm gonna really blaze through some of these guys, okay? 3 generic and a red, 4/4 body, trample. Olakai Crusher can't block unless you control a goblin or an orc. Well, you're amassing so much, so stop being greedy. We've got Grishnak, Brash Instigator for 2 generic and a red, 1/1 body, my lord. Goblin Soldier, legendary creature. This can be your commander. Whenever Grishnak, Brash Instigator, enters the battlefield, amass 2. So a little bit better than that Sauron because it's not a cast. You can flicker this one in. When you do, until end of turn, gain control of target non-legendary creature an opponent controls with power less than or equal to the amassed creature's power. Untap it. It gains haste. You will steal the Tymna. You will get the draw.
You will not.
Why not?
Non-legendary creature.
Never mind.
It's sad. This could have been so much better. The fact that it hits non-legendary and the fact that it hits an opponent's stuff only is sad. This could have been another Kiki combo card. Actually, no, never mind, because this is legendary too, so Kiki can't even hit it to begin with. Never mind, screw him.
Goblin Fire Leaper for 1 generic and a red, 1/1 body. It has not as effective fire breathing, so for a generic and a red, Goblin Fire Leaper gets +1/+0. Then, when Goblin Fire Leaper dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. That's kind of cheeky. It's fine. Remember what we said about combat tricks? Don't really run them, do we? Fires of Mount Doom for 2 generic and a red, legendary enchantment. When Fires of Mount Doom enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target creature or an opponent controls. Destroy all equipment attached to that creature. Ooh, I love crushing Voltron this way. I doubt that creature's going to die to 2 damage. Let's just be honest here. But for 2 generic and a red, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you play a card this way, Fires of Mount Doom deals 2 damage to each player. What do you think about Fires of Mount Doom?
Not too notable. Like, it's nice, but it isn't too crazy. It's a little bit of removal and a little bit of draw.
If that last effect were 1 red, would you slam it in Ouroboros?
Oh, yes. 1 mana draw card, yeah.
Yeah. Exile. But yeah, no, I agree. Moving on. 1 ring to rule them all for 2 generic and double black. The ring tempts you. It's an enchantment saga, I should state. You're seeing it, but I'll state it. The ring tempts you. Then each player mills cards equal to your ring bearer's power. Your ring bearer kind of wants to be measly, so it's a little odd, but, you know, it's there. Destroy all non-legendary creatures. And then each opponent loses 1 life for each creature card in that player's graveyard. 1 ring to rule them all?
Not really notable.
No, it doesn't. It's not ruling your heart. It's not doing anything for you.
Nah.
Goblin
I mean,
Assailant.
it is nice that you get to have something become the ring bearer and it doesn't die to the board wipe, but like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Fires of Mount Doom. Good comment on that. Majra was saying that it should do 2 more damage for each aura and equipment. Because, yeah, honestly, like, it's probably not going to kill the thing. Like, if it's really stacked, like, it's not going to kill the thing.
well, I mean, if it's stacked, it loses all the equipment and becomes unstacked, and that 2 damage could kill, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Only equipment, though, so it is a little narrower in that sense. Um, Fire of Orthanc. Good scene from the film. It's fine.
yeah. 3 and a red for a sorcery, destroy target artifact or land. Creatures without flying can't block this turn.
Ooh,
More land
ooh,
removal.
ooh, yeah. I'm really concerned about the creatures without flying.
That's true, yeah.
I'm just, it's there. It's a thing you can do. It's not great. But cast into the fire for a generic and a red. Choose 1. Cast into the fire deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. Exile target artifact. It's fine. I like the exile attached to this. Usually red just destroys the thing.
It's
Cool.
new Abrade. It's another Abrade. Ping off 2 dorks, or get rid of an artifact. And love the flavor that it hits the ring. Like it can actually get rid of the ring with the indestructible.
Right, but also you can ping an Orcish Bowmaster.
Also true, yeah.
Kill that Orcish Bowmaster. I think I don't. It's so. There's a lot more to go. I think there is. Okay, so I don't know with certainty how many of these are really worth your or our time. So I'm gonna. Will, do you want to power through these with me as well?
Yeah, if you want, I can just point out the notable ones because I have gone through all of these already.
I've
just to
gone
make sure
through
we
a,
have something.
I've gone through a handful, and I want to just make sure we're not missing anything. But yeah, you can tell me some notable ones from here.
All right, so the next kind of notable one is Mina's Tirith. So legendary land, it enters tapped unless you control a legendary creature, and it taps for a white. You can pay 1 and a white to draw a card. Activate only if you've attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. White's got some card draw. It's a very nice card.
Yeah, I like card draw and white. I don't think the requirement is too heavy either, but I could see this maybe getting play in a partners list.
Yeah,
Arden and something would enjoy this
I
for
could
sure.
see this being played in any white list because you just have hate bears. Like,
Mhm.
it's not bad. Um, Next notable card is a Peregrine Took. So, legendary creature, halfling, citizen, uh, 2 power, 3 toughness. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, create those tokens in addition, or create those tokens and an additional food instead. And you can sacrifice 3 foods, draw a card. There's some weird lines that you can do with this to combo off, like Academy Manufacturer, Ant Queen, and the backgrounder that makes your tokens tap for green. So
Mhm.
there's some things that you can do to actually combo off with this and then draw your deck. It's not insane, but as potential.
Yeah, yeah. Give me the Protean Hulk line, audience. That's what I want to see.
Let me think of if there's like a good Protean Hulk line.
Right. So if 1 or
Don't
more tokens would
don't
be created,
think so.
no, because it requires 3, so no
Yeah,
token doubling.
yeah. So it's the issue is just that it requires that you have like some kind of 6 mana combo, but a lot of the things that you want are like 3 mana cards. So it's like you can get 2, but you need 3.
So yeah, just okay.
Yeah, it's interesting, but not groundbreaking in any way.
Hmm.
Um, and then next, we can talk about how the Belrog got sadly screwed over if we really
Oh
want.
yeah. No, it's we can avoid we can avoid that.
Uh,
Meriadoc Brandy Book. I'll point out Shire Terrace really quick. I mean, if you're on a budget, this is just another fetch land you can manipulate, by the way. Like your Terramorphic Expanse, that sort of deal. But it taps for a generic. You can pay 1 to tap it and sacrifice it for a basic land that enters tapped, but it's color fixing when you need it. I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, another good one is Westfold Rider, which is just 1 and a white for a 3/1 that says sacrifice this to disenchant something, only activate at sorcery speed. It's not insane, but when you mix it with a deck like Tishar or something, or any weird white reanimates, this can just keep popping cards over and over and over again. So it's a good card for very niche decks.
Yeah, it's also a 3/1. And so, like, if you're in a Knights Tribal sort of setup, then this is really cool value. I like it a lot. It can attack and then do the thing afterwards, barring it's your turn still. But yeah, I like it.
So we got Rosie Cotton of South Lane.
You like Rosie Cotton?
Yeah, only for 2 specific decks. So 2 and white for legendary creature, halfling peasant. Whenever Rosie enters the battlefield to create a food, whenever a token enters the battlefield and under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature other than Rosie. Marath and Gave. It's a combo card. That's all there is to it. You make a plant, you remove a counter from Gave or Marath to make a plant token, which puts a counter on Gave or Marath. So you just pay 1 mana to make a creature, effectively.
Huh.
It works.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I didn't even think to go there, but that's totally true. Rosie enable infinite combo, it seems. Yeah, she does. I'm even on the take that this land should replace Terramorphic Expanse.
It does combo with Scurry Oak too. That is true.
Yeah, it combos with a few things. She's a really cool combo enabler at 3 CMC. Sadly, she doesn't combo with anything to my immediate knowledge in mono white, so I wouldn't say she's your commander, but she's cool in the 99. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then there's a lot of very non-notable cards. The mono white Frodo isn't too good.
Determined
sadly.
Hero. No, he's not that great.
Yeah. And continuing, we go all the way up until we hit, I think, the blue land, actually.
Rivendell?
Yep, Rivendell. So, Rivendell enters tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Taps for a blue, pay 1 and a blue, scry 2, only active, or 1 and a 2 tap, scry 2, only activate if you have a legendary creature. It's just another good land for blue. It didn't need it.
Yeah, probably not, but that's blue for you.
So we got a Doors of Durin, and I think you might want to cover this one, Patrick, since you did a short on it.
I do. And with a note. So Doors of Durin. For 3 generic in Gruul, speak friend, and enter. Whenever you attack, scry 2, then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Well, damn. So I just want to start with that aspect of the card, because the latter half is less relevant. But scry 2 in Gruul is great. Like, that's just value that you're not really seeing in these colors. So I like it. Normally it's the opposite with red. It's a rummage and not a loot. Sorry, you're that's just the value you see. Or exiling. You don't scry, is what I'm trying to get at. The other element to this card is the fact that it could cheat out regardless of cost, and then it costs 5 to play, so you would really hope that you would get something out of this 5 drop. One thing I think it's botched up in my short is that until your next turn it gains trample if you control a dwarf, or hexproof if you control an elf. So you just need to have, and odds are likely you're going to have an elf over a dwarf, but I don't know, dwarfs are kind of getting printed, like more prevalent dwarfs are kind of getting more printed, so maybe you'll get the trample, but I think the hexproof is more what you're into anyways. So if you were to put one into the battlefield, or if you just control one, like your what's it called, the happy festival goer, what's that creature's name, the new mono green
delightful halfling. Or delighted, card? Sorry, my bad. Delighted halfling.
Right, so it makes Doors of Durin uncounterable, right? Or is it legendary spells or legendary specifically creatures? I forget.
It's legendary spells that you cast with it, I believe.
Right, so it's even better. So Doors of Durin is going in, but let me look at Delighted Halfling. But this is not an elf, I'm sorry, I should say. But legendary spell, cast legendary spell, it can't be countered. Okay, yeah. Ignore that. Not an elf. That was one of the reasons we liked it, as a matter of fact. But it's fine. I like it a lot. I think that this is really going to be cool with Sylvan Tutor, Worldly Tutor, any sort of top deck tutor, as well as any sort of top deck manipulation, outside of the fact that you're manipulating the top of your deck anyways with Scry. You'll hit something and then you'll put it in, and then hopefully that thing helps you, blow out the game. Usually when you see these effects, they like get sacrificed or die or otherwise leave the battlefield, but this is quite good.
Yeah. So the next notable card would be Mines of Moria, the red legendary land, and this is a really good one. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature, taps for red, and has pay 3 in a red, tap, exile 3 cards from your graveyard, and make 2 treasures.
Damn, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, you can stockpile mana really well.
Yeah, so is Saruman of many colors in red? Is that one of his many colors?
No, sadly, he's Esper.
He would have loved this.
Yeah?
So it's cool with any sort of strategy where you're just layering your graveyard. Obviously, this is a little counter to Underworld Breach because you want the cards for the breach. However, if you need mana, like if you just get mana screwed, right, or you're not pulling lands or anything to help you advance your mana, just having this out is gonna help you, which is really cool. I like this land quite a bit. I think this is good, and probably something you can slam in a majority of red lists. It does, again, kind of counteract Underworld Breach, but I think you'll be fine.
So, yeah, I do agree. You've kind of just covered everything that I thought when I first saw it.
Oh, why? Anything else? Anything else on Mines of Moria?
So Forge Anew, which this is less so of a major commander card, but people have been talking about this for Legacy because Legacy has the hammer deck that cheats in the +10/+10 hammer and tries to cheat equip it onto something.
Colossus Hammer.
And Colossus Hammer. And this does it pretty well. So, Forge Anew. 2 and a white for an enchantment. When this enters the battlefield, put an equipment from your graveyard onto the battlefield. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equipment abilities at any time you can cast an instant. You may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost for the first equip ability you activate during your turns. So, this reanimates Hammer and equips it for free. At instant speed to the creature that did not get blocked.
Yeah. Pretty damn good.
So that's why people have talked about it for Legacy.
For Commander, I would highly recommend you just use Sigarda's Aid over this. I think that's a better card for your Voltron list. It's a little bit more impactful because it also works with enchantment auras. If you don't know Sigarda's Aid, again, this is a card I really like. Sigarda's Aid. So you may cast aura and equipment spells as though they had flash, and then whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to target creature you control. So it's behaving like an aura, and this is only 1 white, so it's very easy to set up and create plays with it. So I do think that this is better for Commander players, but I think Forge Anew is great. I think that if you're running a heavy Voltron build, you probably run both. Like, it's still equipment recovery. Like, someone will destroy that Skull Clamp after you've gotten enough value, so just get it back. It's cool.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
The next card, which you've covered on a short, Ring Sight. So,
Yeah.
1 a blue, a black for sorcery. The ring tempts you search your library for a card that shares a color with a legendary creature you control, or reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle.
No one likes it, Will. No one likes it.
It's 3 mana. It's the 3 mana tutor. Like, it's Grim Tutor, but like a bit better.
I see people still running Transmute, and I'm gonna tell you, or what's it, the effect
Muddle
where you
the
like
mixture.
muddle the mixture, but it's called Transmute, right?
Yeah, Transmute is the effect.
Right, I still see people running Transmutes in List, and if you don't know what Transmute is, it's just a way to discard this from your hand, and then you'll be able to tutor a card with the same mana value, right? So to me, this is like obviously Transmute's flexible. Muddle the mixture is awesome, but Transmute's a little bit more flexible that it's attached to another effects. But like, if you just needed a straight up tutor to get you the thing, like, I don't think this is a bad card. I actually quite like it. So
Yeah.
I would say that this is a new value tutor for a 2 to 3 colored list tops.
Yeah, it is the next card that you consider. Like it's not
Yeah.
a snap include as a tutor, but it's something that you can put in.
Or if you're on a budget, genuinely, like this is better than the Mausoleum Secrets, or this is better than a lot of other tutors that are budget tutors, and it's better than the 4-cost tutor, right?
Beseech the Queen, all the four
Beseech-
cost ones, yeah.
Right, right. I play Drifting Phantasms. Is that the one? Also, right, right. So like, well, Drifting Phantasms gets you. Isn't it 5? Drift of Phantasms, I think.
It's a 3 mana. That's
It's
the
3
three
mana.
mana one. That's I think 1 blue transmute for so get a 3 drop.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You can use Drift of Phantasms to get your ring sight. All right, moving on.
So Moria Marauder, you've also done a short on this. Red for a creature goblin warrior with
Yeah.
1 attack, 1 toughness, and then double strike. Whenever an orc or goblin you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. This is just really good with goblins, and considering that goblins can tutor for goblins very easily, this is just going to be a new powerhouse card. Is this what it's going to take to turn that legacy goblin deck into a cEDH goblin deck? Probably not, but we can dream.
Yeah, I like it. I like it quite a bit. I might play Ring Sight in his stead, says Majra. Please do. Let me report back. Like I think Ring Sight's a good card, but I don't have any blue list constructed, so there's nothing for me to put it in, but I like it a lot. I think Moria Marauder is dope. A lot of people were contesting me on this card. If you're in the audience now, let me know how wrong you were. But I think that if you're just amassing, like it could just be the Rabble Master, it could be any number of things that are just putting goblins, because it can be goblins and orcs. But if you're just putting goblins on the battlefield, you're going to get a lot of value off this. And yes, the risk of exiling a thing and never seeing it again is bad. But bear in mind the Legion loyalists, the cards that are making the goblins, they're not requiring any mana of you. And you're swinging a bunch of fodder at your opponents. So if 1 to 3 things get blocked, that's okay. If you exile the top 5 cards of your deck and you didn't spend any mana, odds are likely if your deck is tuned for it, you'll get to play them. And it's important to play. Like if you miss your land, it's there's so many things. Like this is just a good card. You cannot tell me this card's not good. Okay, it's a good card. Sorry. Anyways,
Agreed. Just in general, agreed.
it's fine. It's fine.
Next-
And your treasonous ogre will trigger it.
Also true. Yeah.
just because if you needed treasonous ogre to be more valuable, I think he's an orc. Or ogre shaman, damn it. Okay.
Oh.
Never mind. So he's specifically an ogre. Okay, well, we've got them all now. Never mind. Moving on. Did you want to speak to Horn of Gondor? Is that what
Just since it was brought up before, I'll talk about it. Whenever Horde of Gondor enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 human soldier token, and you can pay 3 and tap this to create X 1/1 human soldier tokens, where X is the number of humans you control. This is the Krenko horn that we were talking about before, or that was brought up before.
Eowyn?
It's
Eowyn?
good.
Is she the one who wants this?
I don't know.
Blow the Horn of Gondor, the one that needs 6 humans to draw? Just do it right here.
Oh, this is overkill for that.
No, it's just enough. It's just enough kill, Will. I want all the humans. But yeah, do you think that this will see play? I feel like humans list will love this.
I mean, like in casual tech, yeah. In competitive, not.
Okay. Too costly?
Yeah, just because it's a 3 to play and then 3 to tap it every single turn.
I'm gonna read this off because I haven't seen this yet. War of the Last Alliance, 3 generic and a white, 3 saga steps. The first 2 are search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So it's another white tutor. I just haven't seen this. I always love when there's a new tutor introduced. For 4, it's a little costly, but you're getting 2 cards, and then creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn. The ring tempts you. What is going on with this card? The double strike I'm just confused by. But it's good.
It's because Legolas is fighting in it, Pat.
Right. Is he there? I don't see any elves.
I don't
Wait,
know.
No, there's one. There's one. What legendaries are you searching?
Derevia meal, let's go.
Okay. Yeah. Kyler wants this. The Horn of Gondor. Kyler, Sigardian Emissary for 3 generic and Selesny, a legendary creature human cleric. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Kyler. Yeah, it's a human party in the house. Other humans you control get +1/+1 for each counter. Yeah,
That is true. It's
Kyler.
just a straight up kill. That's just kill everybody.
Joe Hill, arrow, arrow, arrow. Yes, I agree. And that's that's pretty damn good. Do we I wanna blow the horn of Gondor now. That's kinda cool. All right. Moving on. What else you got, Will?
Display of power. 1 red for an instant. This can't be copied. Copy any number of instants and or sorcery spells. You may choose new targets for the copies. I counterspell war your counterspell war.
Yeah, or I just honestly it's the same cost as a lot of copy effects. Because like I would say fork and reverberate are a little less common. Most of the copy spell effects in red are 3 or more. So the fact that this is and it almost feels exclusive to red because of the double red, so it's not as splashable. But it's good. It's really good. It's just another copy effect to add to the arsenal. I like it a lot.
The fact that it's also mass copy is really good for certain decks like Bergi or any other Rakdos deck that's trying to storm off, because
Yeah.
you can Burnt Offering, cast a bunch of other things, then cast this on top of that to double up your Burnt Offering and Demonic Tutor and Vampiric Tutor or whatever. Like, you can do a lot with this card. It's just very nice.
Yeah. So like hold priority and then like just layer and then sort of
Yeah.
build up this layer to your ritual pile. Dude, it's so sick. Display of power. Hell yeah. The Nazgul closed round at night, and I was besieged. Such light and flame cannot have been seen on Weathertop since the war beacons of old, says Gandalf.
All right, and next we have your favorite horse. I'll
Bill
let
Fernie?
you pick this
Oh
one.
no. Yeah, Shadowfax. So I legitimately, I could make this. I could see myself making this. Shadowfax doesn't care about the Horn of Gondor though. Is Kyler Boros? No, it's Celestia.
Celestia.
All right. So still, I like it. Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, 3 generic and a red and a white. 4/4 legendary creature horse. Horses you control have haste. Name all the good horses in Boros. Go.
None.
Name all the good horses. Well, this is to.
Shadowfax. There you go.
Shadowfax. Okay. If there are any other good horses, let me know. Whenever Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, and it could be a changeling. Okay. Whenever Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, you just make like a horse, and give it haste. Whenever Shadowfax, Lord of Horses attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. And yes, to answer the question, this does mean like the asterisk values, the star values provided at the time of assessing what that star value is. It's 3 or less, or whatever power Shadowfax is currently at. Shadowfax is dope. I like this card a lot. I think it's a cool way to cheat out your hand. This might even pair well with the War of the Last Alliance for all those other legendary horses you're pulling from your deck. But there's a couple cool cards you can play in tandem with this, just with the 4 power. But obviously, if you are using combat tricks, there you go. There's like a feather style list for you. If you have a deck that's sort of geared towards putting out, X creatures and the average power is 6 and under, you could just make sure that whatever combat tricks you utilize get you there. You know what I mean? So it's like a 2 for 1, but whatever the thing you're doing better be great. But if you're playing it,
Light steel tapped and attacking. Let's go. Just make him big enough.
but seriously, like that, yeah. But that would be like a Voltron-y kind of build. So you put the Sigarda's Aid, you put the Forged Anew, like there's stuff there for this. And the thing is, it's like you're doing the setup prior. You're putting the hate bears, you're putting the equipment and all that stuff out prior because Shadowfax is 5. But you've got magnetic theft and some things to make this work. I like it quite a bit. I think that this can work. I think it's probably not going to see much competitive use, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, in casual, it's going to be a tear, and I love that.
Crested Sunmare? No. Crested Sunmare? Let's see. Put us to shame. It's a 5/5, but it is a horse. Other horses you control have indestructible. At the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, create a 5/5 horse creature token. That's kind of cool, actually. I mean, if only the Crested Sunmare were a weaker horse, but that's okay.
Alrighty. Well, we got another card, and this card is kind of crazy, actually. Born Upon a Wind. One and a blue for an instant. You may cast spells this turn, though they or as though they had flash, and draw a card. Um, this is Quicken on steroids. You paid one colorless more to say all of your spells have flash this turn,
I'm
not
gonna
just the
draw.
next sorcery.
Yeah, I'll draw a card while I'm at it.
Yeah,
I'll replace this while I'm at it.
like if you want to pull up Quicken just to look at that, it blows Quicken out of the water.
Yeah.
Like it is not even
Is
remotely
Quicken
close.
rare? Quicken is rare. Wow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it does blow Quicken out of the water. I thought Quicken was uncommon.
Nope. And the thing is, like, Quicken sees some play in Shimmer slash Rustzer because you can get Demonic Tutor out at instant speed. This is gonna see play. This is going to see play not even in just the Necro Zer lists. Like, this is just gonna be a card that's played a lot because it's an instant that you can use to play out a turn on an opponent's turn.
All I could say is, like, when you rip the ad nauseum and you have the mana requisite to play this, you just go
Yeah,
off over top of their combo. Like, this is going to be the new ish for setting up. It's
yeah,
very good.
that's gonna be gross.
Right, but it's also good. Like, did you already mention, like, shimmers are kind of set up like the any sort of necropotence lines, right?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
just you cast that and then you play all of your fast mana and then you just play like Thoracle Demonic Consultation or anything else. It is just so good. It's such a good card.
Right. Yeah. Can't get much better. I mean, obviously, the only thing that kind of behaves similarly that I think also sees play is Emergent Zone, but this is better. This is
Yeah,
better. It's good.
it's just better.
Yeah.
And then we got a bunch of other cards. Sadly, none of them are terribly great because what is it?
Lotho? You gonna talk
Well,
about Lotho?
we got like Gloin who has a once per turn trigger making him
No.
sad. We got the other Legolas who has a once per turn trigger making him sad. Um, so we have Lotho, which is you get a treasure
Yeah.
every now and then, but
Yeah, it's cute
eh,
though. It's cute.
yeah, it's Lotho might actually see play. Yeah, let's go over Lotho.
You don't want to do Meneldor Swift Savior?
No,
Have you seen
no,
Meneldor? Okay. We talk about Lotho really quick because I do think that this is actually okay. It's good. It's good for
it's a pseudocrom, pseudocrom.
right. So for Orzhov 2/1 legendary creature halfling rogue, whenever a player casts their second spell each turn. So what's cool about this is it's going to trigger on every turn and it's every player. You lose one life and create a treasure token. So is there like a sanguine bond? Is there like an aristocrat setup with this? Do you know what I mean? Like, could you cast your second spell to get the life loss trigger to start up the life gain, life loss thing?
Uh, Not that I know of, but I mean like just a two mana thing that makes you a couple treasures in one rotation is pretty good. Because if you play this like turn one, turn two,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably gonna get like two treasures from this before your next turn. It's a good card.
Which is the other one where it's not sanguine bond? It's the other one where you lose life.
Exquisite Blood,
Exquisite blood.
Sanguine and Exquisite.
Exploit. So I honestly don't think this is that bad. Like, it's not as narrow. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. No, okay, never mind. Okay. So here's my thought. This is really good. Like, if this is your turn one play, it's pretty damn good because everyone's trying to pop off really quickly. So if you're doing like a very low to the ground, fast ad nause setup, you can get there very quickly with this. Like, if you're just looking to make mana, you can get there very quickly. I like it a lot. I might
Yeah, like
even I might even make
I
it.
overlooked him, but I'd run him. Like that's actually pretty good
Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. You would run him in the 99, or would you use
in the
this almost
99.
really?
He's just quite good in the 99 because I think what is it? I think Blue Farm might even play this because it's like you're getting 2 to 3 mana every turn usually because people are going to play this, and Dream World you're getting 12 mana in one rotation. You're never getting that Dream World, but It could happen.
Yeah, genuinely though, this is really powerful. I think this is pretty powerful stuff here. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I think this could be its own commander. I don't know how effective it would be, but you're in the right colors. Like, you could rock your own Grand Abolisher and slam that ad naus early. Like, you're gonna make some mana with this guy if you get him down soon. I can see this in the 99 as well. I like it. Everyone overlooked Ledger Shredder, and he slaps.
That's also true. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
in both literally and figuratively,
Mm-hmm.
he does slap.
He does slap, yeah. But yeah, props to you, Lotho. Good on
Yeah,
you. I'm sad that you're a 2-1, but you know, do that thing.
no, he's Bob's cousin. He makes mana instead of draws cards.
Right. And a lot more mana than Bob will be drawing cards.
Yeah.
Let's be frank. So I play a bird in that one. You'll be playing Metal Door. The whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to one target creature you own, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. That's kind of cool to have on a stick. Dig it. What else did you have in your book?
There's one more card that is actually notable, and it was spoiled today, and we talked about it before the show.
It's
Uh,
not stern scolding, is it? You fool of a
I did
took.
not. It is a Palantir of Orthonk. So it's
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
ball, and we're using what has been translated, and this is why I think it's a good card. 3 mana for a legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on this and scry 2. Then, target opponent may have you draw a card. If that player doesn't, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on this, and that player loses life equal to the total CMC of the milled cards. So this is just 3 mana scry 2 draw card every single turn off of base while building up counters. And then once you get to a high enough number, people are just going to have to give you the card draw. Because if they have you mill, which you're fine with doing in a lot of decks, then you're just going to start killing people if they don't want you to draw.
I like it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where I would slot it in personally, but it's good. Oh,
Oswald, let's
sadly.
go.
Yes, Jonathan, we are gathering currently. We're talking about some of the latest releases from Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. I think that this is good. I obviously would want to slam any artifact in Oswald, so like my metric to whether these cards are good or not is whether they slot into Oswald. I wouldn't say that this necessarily slots in there because I have a gut feeling people are going to make you mill 9 out of 10 times. But if your list uses Underworld Breach, then yeah, this is going to spank them. And the thing is, this gets play as soon as it's played, right? So it's at the beginning of your end step, you know, it's not at the beginning of your upkeep, which many of these effects are. So I like that it's playable and usable as soon as it comes down. I like it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So I think that's roughly it. If anyone else has any cards that we missed in that last bit when we just kind of skipped over a lot, let us know and we'll cover them.
Mm-hmm. Seeing the cards that have been seen in LTR spoilers until today. I might actually pull up a tab where we look up the spoils. Did you see the ring go south?
Let's check that out.
It's another translation card, but the ring tempts you, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X land cards, where X is the number of
Oh,
legendary creatures you control. Put the lands onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest revealed under your library in a random order.
I did see that. I like that a bit. Only reason why I didn't include it was it's basically what is it called? Explosive vegetation most of the time, or
Hmm.
worse. And
Hmm.
it's like, it's not bad. Not great, but not bad.
I'm being told to look at there and back again. I'm not immediately seeing it. There and back again. For 3 generic and double red, Enchantment Saga. Up to one target creature can't block for as long as you control there and back again. The ring tempts you. Search your library for a mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. That second effect ain't that great. But let's see what
Third one's
happens. Oh yeah? Oh, create Smog. Smaug, a legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token. You'd think he'd be bigger, with flying and haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens.
I missed this card. Like I quickly skimmed over it, but there's some fun things you can do because if you twin flame this, you're making 14 treasures and keeping a smog around.
I think, yeah, it's so funny because it's when this creature dies. What? So it's like, is this like Magda bait? Like, who wants to run there and back again?
Well, I mean, sadly, Magda would probably not run it just because maybe. No, probably not. I don't think the Magda runs. I don't think it's going to see play in anything competitive, but there's some fun things you can do with this in casual.
I wish you could.
14 treasures.
This is one of those cards that needs to have the skip ahead, by the way. It's itching to be like, you just want to read that final chapter. Truth be told, sadly, we can't do that here. But yeah, are there any other cards you guys want to look over? I have zero idea what is happening, but I think it's cool. Sad. Thanks for joining. No worries. I barely know what's happening day after day. I'm just here for the ride. That's what life is. The instant that bounce
spells. I think they are referring to
right, reprieve, right?
I was gonna say press the enemy.
Oh, I was thinking of reprieve, return target spell to its owner's hand.
There's two. We can cover both of those.
Oh, well, this one's great, and it's in white, so yes, I'm buying a copy of this. It's amazing. I play mono white, so yeah, I want this. But what's the other one? Press the enemy?
Press the enemy, which is like a bad Narset's reversal.
Okay, well, you already set it up for us, so if you want to read it.
Sure. Also, yeah, I'm probably picking up a reprieve too. That card is just quite nice.
Yeah.
So press the enemy. 2 blue for an instant return target spell or non-land permanent to its owner's hand. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with equal or less mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. Bad Narset's reversal.
Yeah, it's high costed. I love the scene that's referred to here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't even think I would play this if it was just 2 blue, if I'm being completely honest.
Return target spell or non-land permanent to its owner's hands. You may
actually no, because it's non-land permanent. I'd play it if it was just 2 blue, but
at 4, too much.
Yeah, at 4, too much.
3?
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Because that's a little bit. That would be good.
Press the enemy is what I wanted to say. Not reprieve. You don't like reprieve? The
reprieve is quite good. The fact that it cantrips is just phenomenal.
Yeah, the uncommon reprieve. I hope there's alternative art. Not that I dislike this one, but I just want like the swankiest of cards for my Oswald.
You want the fancy one.
Yeah, I think that's it though for the cards from this set, to include the commanders. Legolas Counter of Kills is just another sad one. Wouldn't really have to touch that. The only type of cards I have a single clue about is poker cards, so I guess I'll learn. Sad Lump, you will certainly learn watching some of the content on this channel. I can say that much. If there's nothing else that anyone else wants to check out, I think we can wrap this one up, Will. You feeling frosty? You ready to discuss more in the coming weeks? When is the official set reveal? When do we...
I don't know when we get the full launch. I can quickly check that.
Oh yeah, I'll let you guys know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream thus far. Please let me know if there are any cards you'd like for us to discuss after the video in the comments. Of course, we can chat with you then. Stay tuned for more spoilers and discussions from this set. Of course, we're going to be talking on everything as it pops up here on the channel. And tune in Wednesday as we discuss 2 new cards from the set. So I'm excited to talk about those and obviously do some stuff with them. We are going to be revealing those come Wednesday, so big thanks to Wizards for that. Any sneaky outlets for World Gorger? I don't know if there were any sneaky outlets. I'm sure there's a land or two that would do something. Usually you're looking at your land base. Well, good, because Magic is like poker and chess had a baby. I just got here and to say goodbye. Moon Wafers. Goodbye. If you enjoyed this video, I'd like to recommend you leave it a like, share it with all your friends, make sure that they're informed of the game. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in on this one. Will, what's the official date for Lord of the Rings?
June 26th, I believe, is what I saw.
Oh yeah.
So it's end of this month.
Very cool. I will be playing a lot of One Piece at the end of this month because the 3rd set, Pillars of Strength, will be coming out then. So if you're local, you might see me at a pre-release. whether you're playing Magic or One Piece. But I hope to see you there. Will, and you want to send off our audience with anything? Words of
June
wisdom.
23rd. Also, I was 3 days off, but
Oh, it's also June
yeah.
23rd.
It's June 23rd is when it has its official release. I couldn't remember if it was 26th or 23rd.
All right, those basements are going to be real sweaty.
Yeah.
Filled with a bunch of players waiting for that. That was just fun, man. We'll get together Wednesday evening.
Yep.
Figure out a time.
We'll be checking out our cards and potentially brewing something.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see it because it's so similar to something else we've done. That anyway,
Gargle Multani, but with 17 power instead.
new sub by the way. Thanks, Sad Lump. I'll be checking out the rest of your channel. I appreciate that. Mount Doom in World Gorger Dragon. Yes, actually. Yeah, that's a sneaky one. Jonathan Earl says it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Jonathan Earl. May you hit 111th like Bilbo. Take care, guys.